How to get a business loan to flip houses. In this video, you're going to learn how to structure your flips as a business and how to get capital to help that business grow. Are you curious what it takes to get a business loan to help your flips? It all starts with how you position yourself and what types of loans you apply for. In this video, I'm going to show you how to actually qualify for a business loan and why most flippers don't get approved. If you want to learn how to look like a business to a lender, well, this is how. There is a big difference between getting money to fund a flip and getting money to fund a house flipping business. Funding for a flip is very transactional. You borrow money for one deal. Typically, it's a short-term loan, anywhere from 2 to maybe 12 months. And that's all you do is for that one deal. Funding for a business is typically a much longer plan that involves longer periods of payout and more operating capital to grow a business. First, you're going to have to try and find a bank that will even entertain a loan in the real estate space. My guess is you won't be able to. But if you get denied, there's good news because the SBA, or the Small Business Administration, might be able to step in and help back that loan for the bank. And here's how this works. SBA loans are government-backed loans that are given by local banks. But the government backs the loan to the bank in case you default. The bank is not out the money. The first is the SBA-7 loan. It's the most flexible and the one that most people use to grow their business. This loan can be used for working capital, can be used for marketing, can be used for growing your staff. It can be used for anything to grow your business. What it can't be used for is to buy real estate as an investment, like for flips or for rentals. But like I said, it can be used to grow your flipping company. So where are you in your journey as a flipper? Have you done a few houses? Now you're saying, hey, I want to have some employees. I want to start growing my lead management. I want to start to have revenue that comes in. I want to start having an office space. Now we're talking about SBA territory. What you can't say is, hey guys, I need money to flip a house. What you have to say is, I need money to grow my business, expand my payroll, and turn it into more of a legitimate business. Here's how to apply step by step. Now, if you've never flipped a house before, a better starting point for you would be to go spend some time on our channel, learn about flipping your first house. You're going to want to learn how to flip houses and have that skill under your belt before you go and apply for an SBA loan, because you're going to want to know your experience. And if you've never flipped a house before, they're probably not going to want to fund a house flipping business unless you have experience in another business and you can bring that experience to the house flipping industry. So number one, form a legitimate business entity, an LLC, an S Corp, or a C Corp. Talk to your accountant. I highly recommend an LLC or an S Corp for tax purposes, but that's between you and your accountant. And I'm not an accountant. You'll need to have a bank account. So once you file for your LLC or your corporation, you're going to get what's called an EIN, or Employer Identification Number. And with that, you can open up a business checking account. And you want to have that before you even get started. Next, you have to create a strong business plan. They want to know what you're going to do with the money, the business model. How are you going to find houses? How are you going to fund houses? It can't be their money. How are you going to fix them? How are you going to flip them? Who's going to work for your company? What's your organizational structure going to look like? These are things you have to put together. They're going to want to know your experience. How many years you've been in real estate? How many flips have you done? What has your profit been on those flips? I would encourage having pictures and show your experience of before and after shots and your closing statements on each one to show that you've been profitable and you know what you're doing as a house flipper. They're going to want to see cash flow projections. Where do you see the money coming in from? Where do you see your profits? Where do you see your expenses? How is your cash flow going to operate? And what exactly will you be using the funds for? Remember, you can't use them to fund your flips. So what will you use the money? I recommend that you use that money for marketing and for payroll. That's the two things out of the gate. You can say, look, I am investing money in my company to get more deals to come in, and I want to have a staff that, number one, answers the phone as a lead manager. The lead manager will then turn over leads to my acquisition manager, who will go out and negotiate and buy houses for me. Then you'll have a project manager, and you could be one of these roles too, but you have a project manager who will manage the projects, and then I will have an inside agent that will sell those properties for you. If you show that type of a strong structure with a team in place, you're much more apt to be approved for a business loan. You're going to have to get your financial house in order if you haven't. You're going to have at least a 680 credit score. They're going to want to see 2 years of financial records, business if applicable, and personal for sure. They're going to want to see a P&L statement or your profit and loss statement and your balance sheet. If you don't have one, now's a good time to have an accountant come help you build one. Inside those personal financial records, you have to have a personal financial statement. Just a statement you can get anywhere online that lists out all your assets, all your liabilities, and whatever's left over is your actual net worth. Next, you want to find an SBA approved lender. Just Google online and look for that, or you can always apply through banks and credit unions that offer the SBA 7 loan. Next, submit your application. You go through an interview process and they'll let you know if you're approved or not. If you get approved, you have to use those funds according to plan because they can come in and check your records anytime to make sure you're not using it for flips. Again, they're not big fans of loaning to flip companies because people might use that money for flips and they do not want to invest in speculative properties. They want to invest in people that are growing real businesses. So keep really good records. You might want to consider this option instead. One of the things we've done in the past is use what's called credit card stacking. Credit card stacking is very simply this. Banks will give businesses credit cards. And there are companies that will help you apply for these credit cards. You can get multiple credit cards issued at the same time, sometimes raise $50,000 to $100,000 with 0% credit cards and use those to fund your business. It might be a better and faster alternative for whatever you're looking for now. If you have 0% money, it's better than going through all the rigmarole of an SBA loan. And it might get you to your goals a lot faster. The other thing you can do is really just build relationships with local lenders over time. That doesn't happen overnight. Open a checking account, open a savings account. Start to use one bank and get to know them. Let them know who you are. Most local bankers are relationship based. They want to know who they do business with. They may not loan you money on a flip, but they might be great to give you lines of credit as they watch your business grow, as you make more deposits in their bank, as you build relationships. Sponsor their golf tournaments when they come up. Do all the things that build good relationships with local business people. Go to networking events that they have. And if you spend time there, it's a great place to have access to money. But my hands down favorite is private lenders. Spend time in our channel, please, and learn about private lending. It is how we fund our business, and it's highly how I recommend that you fund your business going forward. Is the SBA an option? Certainly. Do you need them? I don't think you do. I think you do much better with private lending and using 0% credit cards to kind of get you off the ground. At the end of the day, no loan will ever be given to you if the numbers don't make sense. And you have to know your numbers. In this next video, I'm going to show you how to evaluate a deal so you know your numbers inside and out. You can know what the ARV, the after repair value, you can know what the MAO or the maximum allowable offer you should pay that will determine how much profit you're going to make on the house before you ever buy it. How do we learn this? Through 20 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and we still use it today to buy over 100 houses a year, and I want to give it to you today for nothing. So watch this video, or if it's not in the video, just look in the description below, click on the link, and it's my gift to you.